wanted to do an episode on real estate. Just real estate in general. And the third thought, of course, occurs to me if I'm interested in creating content like this, to separate it from the overall channel, which is very much politics, personal, lots of other things. But that's not who I am. And my business as a real estate agent as an investor, as an advisor is very much tied in with who I am as a community member and anything else. So like everything else in the world, the real estate industry is undergoing some very rapid changes, and I would say very significant, seismic, once-in-a-generation changes. And I think anyone who's spent a few years in the industry and or even just paid attention in the past few years would know that these were coming, and it was very obvious. And I think in general change is always good. I think this change is long overdue and very necessary. What is the change? I don't think it's going to be as obvious as people think. I don't think this class action suit against NAR is going to have the expected effect, but I think it's really just a small part of what's happening, and it's going to lead to other changes. I don't believe any of these lawsuits are in good faith. I strongly believe that those behind it are companies like Zillow and News Corp, Realtor.com that are trying to take over the industry, not for the benefit of the consumer or anyone else, but only for their own benefit. I don't think these companies benefit the consumer, and I think they're actually worse than the current setup. I do think the industry deserves everything that's happening to it, and I think most agents deserve at least what the desired outcome of those involved in this suit are aiming for. It's an incredibly unprofessional profession. The barrier to entry is almost non-existent, and that is to say that the qualifications necessary to be a real estate agent and to to do real estate transactions are pathetic. And the only proof you need for that is to deal with 9 out of 10 agents. And there's a lot of people that make a lot of money. And there's a lot of consumers that are getting screwed over regularly. So all you need to do is look at the last boom in our cycle, and keep in mind everything economically, especially real estate, is always a cycle, and it always will be a cycle, and nothing goes up forever, and nothing goes down forever. But what we saw during this COVID boom and with the low rates was some incredibly irresponsible actions by everyone involved at all levels of the real estate industry. And it cycles maybe follow a pattern, but they're never the same. And what happened in the early 2020s is very different from what happened in the late 2010s with the subprime mortgage crisis, and people getting loans that they weren't at all qualified for or were able to pay back. And of course, those loans being packaged and sold off and making their way into all aspects of the financial system. This was different. The chief driver behind this absolutely insane and irresponsible inflation in prices was an incredibly irresponsible Fed that lowered rates to 2%, and essentially cut the monthly cost of financing a home, which is how 80-90% of people are paying for a home. It's through monthly financing over 30 years. If you lower the rates to 2%, as opposed to, say, an average of 5 or a 7 or 8 that it's out now, you're literally, you can cut the price, the real price of a house in half. The actual list price and sales price of a house is pretty irrelevant when you're financing with a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. So as money got really cheap, almost to the point of essentially being free to borrow, people were able to afford more, and they kept bidding up more. And we had all types of investors and flippers, and now we have Airbnbers, just like we have every cycle. Lots of geniuses and gurus and entrepreneurs. But in the middle of all of this, at the forefront of all of this, and really the engine that's making this economic machine move, is the agents. Because despite what everyone wants to believe, real estate transactions are very difficult, and it is, and it certainly can be, and it often is, a very complex process. The paperwork itself is fairly simple. These are standard contracts, promulgated by the state, but it's when things start to go awry, and it doesn't go as smoothly as you hope. That's when an experienced agent or broker is very valuable, and just understanding the market. If a person purchases a home maybe once or twice, 5 times, even if you're an investor, you purchase, say, 10 homes over your life. As an agent, I might do a dozen transactions in a month sometimes, and I'm doing hundreds over a career, and I'm seeing all types of things, and I'm, again, doing this day to day. So understanding it's quite a complex market. It's a very imperfect market. So, if you say you want to go and purchase Netflix stock or Facebook stock, you can, it used to be you have to, have a broker, and you have to call up your guy on Wall Street or whatever, and, have them put in the order. And now you can do it online, and now you have things like Robinhood really changed it, where just do it in the app, and it doesn't even, cost you anything. We're not talking about buying a few $1,000s worth of stock. We're talking about buying a $500,000 $1 million asset. It's a lifetime commitment, essentially, with your mortgage, and saving a few points can mean tens of thousands of dollars. Making a mistake, and there's lots of little mistakes you make, could be truly catastrophic to your financial life. So buying, say, a home that's not in good condition. Maybe these are all real stories. You buy a home, and it's an older home. It needs some work, and you get your contractors in, and they start doing some renovations. Maybe your foundation's off a little bit, so they start doing some leveling, and then your entire home collapses, and you find out that not only was your 100-year-old pier and beam home not only did it need releveling, but the entire structure was destroyed by WDI, by wood destroying insects. You had termites or something like that, and you're screwed. So insurance is never that simple, and they're not always they're not interested in paying claims. You really can be shit out of luck. Or say you buy a home, and these may be all required disclosures that the seller and the seller's agents have in there, but I can tell you, and I've done hundreds of transactions, 99% of buyers do not read anything that they sign. And even if they start to and try to, you end up signing, over the course of a transaction, hundreds and hundreds of pieces of paper. And very few people are capable of reviewing that. We'll come back.